we were even closer. But if you could actually huddle yourself and come a little closer, that will be useful. So I don't have to shout out. Yeah. Sorry.
No, he's sitting there to hold you.
He's
Just
sitting there to make sure that I don't fall off. Okay. All right. There is definitely more space here. So you can, and we have a special young guest here. SHANK. KH, but H is silent. Shank. This is like the famous Tintin comic, Thompson and Thompson. You know them? One is with a P, but the P is silent. Again, my jokes are not going down very well today. Okay. All right. So how are you all feeling? I mean, it's about a month since we moved, right? Did we move on 1st of 29? No, actually, I've been telling people it is just a week, just 2 weeks. It's almost like that. So it's been a month since you have moved to Gurgaon. What is the general feel? I mean, if you were to, how many of you feel happy and good and energetic and all that nice spirit about this office? How many of you feel good? Okay.
I think all of us.
Ashutosh is not. He's actually kind of lost in his computer. He's still working. Okay, so I do feel very, very happy here for more than one reason. Not just because that I live next door. That could be one of the reasons, but I think there's a nice energy about this place. There's a lot of light about this place, and that light is also energy, right? And not just these lights. Even if you switch off these lights, in fact, I asked them to put on these lights, because even if you put off these lights, there is enough natural light that is there. And the only complaint that I hear is that sometimes it's too cold, this office, so we had to switch off one of those ACs. But that is okay. I think we are going to save a lot on energy bill, which is very good, and it's also very good for the environment that we are not burning up a lot of this energy. Any complaints you have? We'll talk about the complaints a little later, right? But let me also tell you that we are still settling down. You still see some boxes. Most of the boxes have disappeared, but there are still few boxes left. And if you really look at the room at the end here, what is that room going to be? Any idea? Okay, it's going to be Gilli Danda room. It's going to be the crash? No, we're going to have a child-friendly space upstairs. So that is yet to come up, and it is going to be a nice tent. A nice tent is coming up, and I think it should be hopefully be done by this weekend. This room down there is going to be another conference room, and that is the last room because the carpenters are working out of that room right now. So hopefully by next week we also having another facelift by graphics that are going to come here on glasses, on doors, on entries, in the meeting rooms, etc. There's going to be lovely graphics, and so it's going to give an entirely different look from what it's right now, which is hopefully, and I'm sure it is, going to still give it a better look and a facelift altogether. So that is about the office, and I would just like to tell you that, I mean, this office you're maintaining well. Think of it as a home. If our home is dirty, of course I can't stretch that argument. But if you are keeping your home neat and smell nice and the loose, I mean that's one thing which I'm particular about at my home. Our loose should be nice, dry, clean, and smell good. How many of you would like to have a nice, aromatic, not smelly loose, and make it clean and dry? How many of you would like that? Nobody. Everybody would like that, right? So if you want to keep your home clean, you want to keep your toilets clean, if you want to keep your work area clean at home, let's have that same house pride extended to this office, and just remember that whichever part, wherever you are, keep it nice, clean, and very inviting. And that is so most of the day and most of the time. But I think you should make sure that every part, including toilets, to make sure that it's clean and nice. Just few of the things that happened in the last 1 month. The biggest event, really the biggest event this month, I would say that, because in terms of getting prime time news, half an hour discussion on a Save the Children report, this was happening for the very, very first time. What am I talking about? The Urban Child. And what is it called? Forgotten Voices, or Forgotten Voice or Voices. It's a story of the urban child. It got phenomenal coverage. It got fantastic coverage. How many of you saw that half an hour news show? Many of you saw that. If you haven't seen it, Dave, have you made it available as a link?
Is there on YouTube? Thanks to Pulkit.
It's on YouTube. Please go and see it. And our chairman was there speaking. Actually, he got stuck in the traffic. He couldn't reach the NDTV studios, but he was connected on phone from his car in the traffic. He spoke, and he did a brilliant job. Those of you heard him would definitely appreciate and agree with me that it was a brilliant job. And Save the Children came really very well, not only in that interview but in that report, as well as the people who have been speaking to me. I was in Washington last week, and I had an evening spent with a guy who is a policy guy who is in Washington. So he came and told me it's a brilliant report. I said, how do you know about it? He said, who doesn't see NDTV? Who doesn't see the press coverage that you got? So that's wonderful. So without even telling me, somebody in Washington picked it up. So obviously the news has really spread afar, which is great. So again, I would like to congratulate the team that put it together. And it's not one person, there are many people. There is the entire research team under Dipali Nath, and then Dave and Vidisha and everybody who worked on on really the launch of that report and the coverage that we got. So really would like to congratulate all of you. And now the question is that what do we do with that report? So we do have a dissemination plan. In the next 6 months, we'll be doing a lot more work on that, so that it would be picked up by the policymakers. We also will have several meetings with the ministers, including the PMO, of changing the policy for the urban child, which is terrible actually. If you've really gone through, I mean, it's good to launch a report. How many of you have internalized the report? How many of you know some of the numbers on that report? Apart from the research team who put it together. Can I ask some quiz questions here? Yeah? No? No? Yes or no? Okay, please read the report. Okay, so it's really terrible. Some of the statistics, some of the numbers of the urban children. Just think about it. 54% of our street children are sexually abused. 54, 1 in 2 children who live on the street in the urban areas are sexually abused. That's a terrible number. And there are lots more and lots more very revealing numbers there, which in this day and age, when we talk about huge GDP growth, etc., the reality is that India by 2040, almost 50% of the people will be living. Right now there is a 70-30 divide, 70 rural and 30 in the urban areas. But in the next 20 years or so, that numbers are going to change. Our infrastructure is going to hold up for the urban population. So it's going to be terrible. So let me also give you the good news that up until now, the urban initiative globally was being co-chaired by Caroline Miles, who is CEO of Save the Children US, and I, as Save the Children India CEO, we were co-chairing it, we are co-leading it. And soon, there will only be a single leadership, and that will be Save the Children India. So you should be proud that globally, we'll be leading on the urban initiative. So again, thanks to a lot of initiatives that we have done, and we have worked, and we'll be obviously be supported by US and others on this initiative. And we also going to have one more thematic area in which India is going to give a global leadership, which is, any idea? On the knowledge management.
Child poverty?
No, on the knowledge management.
The knowledge hub.
Not just the knowledge hub. Knowledge hub is going to be based in India, yes, but there is going to be a knowledge management global leadership, and that will be run by Save the Children India. So isn't that excellent news? Again, we'll be supported by, that also is going to be sponsored by Save US and led by Save India, and that is going to be how it is. So in the next strategy period, 3 years, we are going to be leading on 2 global initiatives. One is the urban child, and the other is knowledge management. I'm extremely proud about that, and I'm sure each one of you should be, because where we have reached in the last how many years? It's not a long journey. How many of you joined recently this month? Can I see a hand up going? Okay. So do you know anything about our history?
It's almost 8 years.
Okay, that's good. 8 years. And is it long? It's a rather short period. In our 8-year history, Save the Children India now are leading on is leading on 2 global initiatives. That is something to be proud of. That shows where we have reached in that global space. And as you know that we sit, and many of you may not know, but it will be repetition for some people. I sit on the global board steering group of the CEOs. There are 7, 8 of us on that global steering group. We just had a meeting in Connecticut at Carolyn Miles' home. Carolyn Miles is the CEO of Save the Children US, and this rotates between the homes of other CEOs. We had one in India. When was that? 2012, I think. Yeah, I think it's we need to get it back to India. Otherwise, we went to Norway. We went to Jasmine's house. Everybody's homes. Justin's home, right out in a village, which is about 600, 700 years old place. Lovely times that we have is when we CEOs get together. What do we do when CEOs get together? This steering group CEOs get together. Sorry? What did you say? Okay, what do we do? Chit chat. Okay, we do a lot of chit chatting. This time actually we had a dip in the sea. Can you imagine all the 7, 8 CEOs? We were taken to this beautiful place in Connecticut. Beautiful waters around. So Carolyn took us all, and we had a nice dip in the sea, and that was really a nice bonding experience. So we bond together, we chit chat, we eat a lot, but more than that, this is a group that shadows or that mirrors the board, Save the Children Global Board, and does all the leadership things like discussion about the strategy. 2016-18 strategy was approved by us, and then it goes to the board. The budget discussion, we have a steer for 2016, we decided, and this time around the discussions were all around how we're going to take our strategy to action. And many of you know that we also worked on a strategy, right? I'll come to it in 2 minutes, but this is a global strategy into action. Each one of our CEOs took up an area to lead on, and that is how the knowledge management came to Save India. So others will be leading on other initiatives as well. So we decided on all that, and now we've just started the work on budget. So next 2-3 months, and by the end of this year, by October or November, the global budgets will be ready. So we will also working on the budget for next year. That is the year of 2016. So that is what we discussed during the CEO's meeting. One other thing, I don't know how many of you know, that the global CEO of Save the Children International, Jasmine Whitbread, she's been the CEO for 6 years, almost 5 years actually, and before that she was the CEO for Save the Children UK for 5 years. So total 10 years with Save the Children, and she was the leader when this huge historical coming together of SCI that happened. Again, you need to understand what do you mean by becoming one. All the programs in countries, different countries are now commonly delivered by one platform of the international program. We don't do that because we deliver our own program internally. We don't work outside of India. But those members who have got large outside presence outside of India, they do it through one initiative which is called the International Programming Unit. And all this, otherwise, we used to have 5 members working in one country. In India, before we became a member, you know how many members were here? How many of you know your history? How many members were here? 6. We were 6 members, and then the 6 members, gave up their territorial rights over India, in one sense, and we became the single operating entity called Save the Children India. Similarly, such presence, multiple presence of members existed in rest of the world. So they have all moved on, and there will be a single unified country program which is managed by SCI, and that happened during the leadership time of Jasmine. Why I'm talking about Jasmine? Because Jasmine just announced that she is moving on. So in other words, we are looking for a global CEO for SCI, and Jasmine will be there till the end of this year, and we're already starting the search soon, and that search will be both internal, which means any one of you can apply for that job, as well as, I mean it, if you feel kind of inspired to do that, you must do that. Both internal as well as an external search will be done for our global CEO, who will be replaced. Hopefully, we have a new CEO in place by November or December of this year. While I was in the US, I also went to the Save the Children US's office. Sorry, I had to pull you out of homework. Some of you are missing here. We sent out a message yesterday saying that no work from home on TWT days, which is only once a month. Okay, so how many of you are not here? All of you are here, right? That's a good question. That is called an oxymoron. How many of you are not here? Or somebody, wakes you up at 12 a.m. in the morning and asks the question, "Are you sleeping?" Like that, I'm asking a question. How many of you are not here? How many of you? How many are working from home that they are working from home? Okay. So I think probably they don't know. Next time onwards, no work from home on TWTs. And some days we would like to see everybody in the office, and this is one such occasion. So I was actually talking about going to Save the Children US office. They also moved to a new office. If you know where they were earlier, it was again in Connecticut area called Westport. From Westport they have moved to Southport because last 3 years they were hit with 3 cyclones, and the cyclones, water which came in, and the ground floor was completely underwater, and but it is one of the most picturesque, beautiful waterfront offices that I have ever seen. And now they have moved to be a little more careful. They are on the 4th and the 5th floor. So waters obviously won't go up to the 4th and the 5th floor. And like us, they are open there, but of course they may have a 3-4 times the size of our office. There are about 250. That is again double the size of the number of people working from Connecticut. So that is a beautiful office, and I went there to have a discussion with Carolyn and her team on activating the Indian diaspora in the US. You know what the diaspora is? Indians who live there. How many are citizens of the US? How many Indians are there? First question. How many of you been in the US? Okay, many of you been there. So how many Indians are there? Not those going tourist types, but those who've been staying there for the last so many years and have become citizens. About 2.5 million people. And do you know what is the collective income of that population? It's among the top ethnic groups in terms of money making. It is $88 billion. Can somebody convert? Ashutosh is still busy with his. Okay, why don't you convert that? How much is $88 billion in crores? The accountants, whose math is good? $1 billion is how much? Huh? $1 billion. It is $1,000 million. Okay, and you multiplied $1,000 million by 65. Obviously, you will get what is that? I can't put all those zeros together and count. That is the income. That is the income of the Indians living there. So there is a whole lot of money which is out there for us to tap into. And even if you actually think of about 1% of their giving to come to India, 1% of their giving, which would be about 3%. It's about we are talking about $1 billion market. And there are organizations like CRY Pratham, which is the America India Foundation. They're raising funds there. Pratham raised about $13 million last year. How much is $13 million converted into Indian rupees? That's almost half of our current turnover. We could just add on 13 million. We could become a $50 million overnight, yeah, or $45 million overnight. So we are looking at that. They're quite kicked about it, and from our end, this will be fronted by Scott, and all of you know Scott by now. How many of you don't know Scott? I would like to see your hands up. How many of you don't know? Okay, Scott, you may have to stand up to make your presence felt.
Sorry, what?
You may have to stand up to make your presence felt, and that's a tall figure. A towering figure of Scott is going to do that for us in terms of activating the diaspora market. And while I was also there, I also discussed with the sponsorship team, which is also a large activity which we all have forgotten about. Actually, sponsorship was in terms of fundraising. It was started by Save the Children way back in the 20s, and then we gave it away to the world, that technology, and we have moved away from it for good reasons. But we are re-looking at it to bring it back, the sponsorship model, because we would like to reach to so many more people. So that we are working on that as well. What else? We are a good last 6 to 7 months. We were very furiously engaging ourselves with on what? On our 2016 to 18 strategy, right? And all of you have contributed to that. I mean, all the teams have contributed to it, and I think we have a decent strategy now, that has gone to Global CEO Steering Group, which has gone to our board members for their last inputs, and then we will be presenting that to the board as well as to our annual general body meeting on 20th of August. And let me tell you that it was really hard work, both globally as well as in India. And I would really like to thank Renu here, who did an excellent job in putting it all together. So where is Renu? Renu, you'll have to stand up on 2 benches and make your presence felt, or be on the shoulders of Scott, so that everybody can see. How many of you don't know Renu? You seem to be quite popular here. Yeah. All right, Renu is right there in that corner, and she did a great job in coordinating with the various different teams and the different pressures and bringing it together. It's not an easy job. So she did a great job, and we were supported by BCG in that. Kimaya is not here. So there was one more person from BCG who was here for about a couple of months. She'll come back, I think, right? So again, that strategy is in place. So the next step is, how do we, once it is endorsed by the board, what is the next step? Strategy can remain in nicely bound books. Strategy can remain in your computers, but it has to be put into action. The fundamental roots meaning of strategy or stratagem came from stratagem, strategos, etc. came from an army terminology. What do the generals do? Do the generals go and fight in the front? Do they? They strategize. So there is a war room. There is a think tank. You strategize how to deploy your resources efficiently out there so that we could be successful in a war, right? And it's also about focusing. If you take children's issues, there are hundreds of children's issues. So the question is, what is that we are going to focus on in the next 3 years? That is what strategy says, and each one of you should get a copy of that, should read it, understand it, internalize it, and put that to action. And soon, and we are going to get somebody in my SMT. SMT team is going to expand by one more person, at least for the next 1 year. How many of you heard of that? There's one more SMT member joining us. How many of you? Okay, so many of you haven't heard. So we have somebody called Michelle Baumann. Michelle Baumann is the director of strategy for Save the Children International, and she said she wants to come. I didn't ask, by the way. When she said that, I said, wow, this is wonderful offer, because she's fantastic. She is the one who coordinated the strategy process for the 30 members, bringing it together and making it an SCI strategy process, an all-inclusive process. A fantastic background. She's from Harvard, she's from Wharton, she's from UPenn. These are all three great institutions of learning. At Wharton is where she did her MBA, undergraduate from Harvard, and MBA from Wharton, and an MA from UPenn. And forget about those degrees. After that, she worked with BCG for about 4 to 5 years. She worked with the International Red Cross, and then she worked with Save the Children International. And isn't it wonderful to have somebody like that come and work with us for a year? To help us put our strategy into action? Guys, India is going places. Why do you think people like that want to come and work with India? Why do you think so? Because we are going places. Precisely that reason, people find it attractive proposition to come and work here. At the same time, let me also tell you that I talked about Ghar Wapasi last time. The people who have gone out are coming back. Okay, they have tested the waters, felt the waters, and they think that Save the Children was a better deal, and coming back. Who has joined recently? How many of you know? Ipsita. And she's joined back Pune, and there are some people we are talking to. I think it is premature to announce the names at this point of time. But people are coming back. And so my question is that why should you go at all? But even if you do go, this is an organization with our own doors open. Right? You don't have to go. Okay? So that's good. Then what? I think I should shut up by now. We have a GC and AGM coming up, which is AGM is the annual general body meeting. We are a society. It's not just a loose association. There are certain legalities that govern us. So as an NGO, we are a society, right? We're registered as a society, and that society has its annual general body meeting, and it also has appointed a board, and the board then has appointed a CEO, and that is how the delegation of responsibilities flow down in the organization. So I have been appointed by the board to look after, and then all of you are here. So we've been delegated responsibilities, but the governance role is that of the board, and then finally that of the AGM. So the board meets once in about 4 to 5 times a year, and the general body meets once a year. So that's coming up on August 20th. So I'm looking forward to that. We have lots of good news to share with the board. We will have our financials audited by then. I think in the next couple of days it will be audited. Hopefully we'll get the signatures and it will go to the board. So that's it from my end. Yeah, we need to keep this open for questions now. Questions? How do you feel? It's good to hear how you feel in this new office. Maybe 2-3 comments. Good, bad, ugly.
Your request timed out.
My request is timed out. Many of you don't get it. My phone tells me that I am timed out. So anyway, I have shut up, but please tell me. How do you feel? Otherwise I'm going to pick up people and ask. How do you feel in this office? Somebody who has just come only to this office and not been in the other office. There are at least 3-4 of you. How about you? Yes?
Stay near Nehru Place, but when I joined, office was already shifted.
Okay. You feel good? Okay. More than good? Happiness? Yes, Neha. You have, yes. Are you feeling less sleepy?
I put on 5 kgs just because of that.
You gained 5 kgs.
I think I gained 5 kgs just because I'm so happy.
Because of happiness, he has gained weight. But because of happiness, you can also go and join a yoga place or a gym place and then burn it out. Some people do that. Where is Shweta? Shweta has disappeared. Oh, she's right here. Okay. Who else? Feeling happy? I know some of you are still, coming from very far. I know I can feel for you because, but then many people are trying to move. Many people, we are trying to create exceptions of timing, etc. There is also work from home. So it's somehow compensating for the people who are really coming from very, very far. Especially my heart goes out to people from Noida. Yesterday, I was in the same car with somebody who was going to Burari. You know where Burari is? Somewhere in Punjab or something. It's that far. It's beyond ISBT. It's all Punjab for me. And what else? What are the feel good? Or I will go away thinking that you're not feeling good. Jose, Vijoy, you feel good, happy?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. I'm only asking Gurgaon people. People who are not in Gurgaon, tell me something. Prachi, you are one of those long distance ladies.
Initially, it was a little difficult, but I think with the flexible policies and kind of work from home.
You are happy?
I think it's better.
You are getting used to it. Yeah. Many people have kind of settled down, and you, madam,
Because of the flexible timing and
you are okay.
it helps.
Huh.
It helps.
It helps, but I'm still asking you and your family, your parents, everybody to move this side. Yeah, if that was possible. It's not always possible, but by the way, I used to do this for almost 10 years. I used to come, go to the metro, get into the metro at the other end, and so on. So that's not the reason why we are here, but this is 40% cheaper, and we are going to save on energy bills. I can tell you that. Ashutosh comes from Noida. He's hiding here.
No, it's all fine. No, it's all fine.
Ashutosh says it's all fine. It's all fine.
It is only a game of your mind. So once you accept it, it is fine.
That's very philosophical. It's all in the mind. Game of the mind, right? There is this, I forget his name, famous psychologist who was actually in Auschwitz. You know where Auschwitz is? The famous German hellhole, Nazi chambers. No, I'm not talking about Nietzsche. Was not there. We are not talking about the man who said that God is dead. No, he is also one of my interesting philosopher. No, this guy came. He became a very famous psychiatrist, and his whole thesis was that people can survive in any conditions, even if it's a gas chamber, right? People get used to it. But this is not a gas chamber. This is a lovely, beautiful office, right? You agree or not? Just a bit unconvinced. Well, I hope you're enjoying it. I'm as much as I am enjoying it. Yeah. Anything else? Anything else that is bothering you? Yes, go ahead.
What I wanted to say was that
Louder, please.
can we explore a possibility that some shuttle service is provided, and even if it's like on subsidized rate, if it's not free, like some one or two common points can be decided in South Delhi or whatever is convenient.
You know something? I really wish we could run a shuttle metro, because his car is sometimes very dicey. I mean, even if you provide shuttle service, you could be stuck on the road forever.
I mean, if they have fixed timing and
Okay,
it'll
that-
be even more disciplined than
But how many of you are using the shuttle service between Huda and here? So many of you are using that. Is there any complaint about that? Okay. It's difficult to coordinate. Okay, Ashutosh.
That is one of the reason why is that one person comes down and he or she insists that he should be the
Yeah, the thing is that if there are fixed
And
timings, so if you
you have
don't,
to adhere to the timings.
then it will be inconvenient for others. Yeah, those are the difficulties sometimes.
if
By the way, there is an foot over bridge that has come now, and hopefully, if those of you like to walk, if the biggest hurdle there is that crossing across to the that hospital. What's it called? Fortis. But there is a footbridge now. I think it will be operational soon with escalators and so on. So that
And-
should make it a little
and
easier.
the main hurdle is
Parking
getting down from the Huda city center to the coming out.
Yeah, but again, people who come in at early, like Renu comes at around 8:30, it may not be that bad. Climbing from there. See, if you come around, I think the rush hours, if you avoid, which is after 8:30, 8:30 to 9:30, I think it's going to be really, really rush hours. And if you can come at 8:30 and get out of this place by 4:30, I'll be very happy for all of you. That's the best time to, if you want to avoid the rush traffic. But your point taken, but I don't know if we can act on it. But I can certainly tell you that Vivian and I will have a chat on that, and then we'll get back to you if that is possible. Yeah. So that's a guarantee that we will talk, but and we'll get back. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? Yes.
We need to update both our microwaves.
Sorry.
Both our microwave ovens don't work. One is obviously permanently shut, and the other one is really old, so it's not effective.
Okay.
I've already requested Vivian to do it once.
Vivian, you have a new job, microwaves. Will you take care of it? Yes. Yes, Vivian will take care of your microwave problem. Yes. Then, what else?
Thomas, like we have 2 days dedicated for SMC in a month, we should probably have 1 day dedicated for every team to spend the whole day together once in a month.
Once in a while. I hope it's not once a month. Once a month is going to be very difficult. To have the every team member to come, as it is, we are running short of once in a month for all the office people to be together.
No, individual teams.
Oh, individual. That is left to the individual teams.
Yeah, that's
Please, what you do with your individual teams, whether you go to Bahamas and have a meeting there, it's all left to you. And there are some people like Sudeep is sitting on huge budgets. So ask him to take you to wherever you want.
have one.
Yeah. Sir? No, that is left to the teams. It's good to get out of this place, get some fresh air. Lodi Gardens is really beautiful, if not Bahamas. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else? Anything that you wanted to say? You thought that because after this, you shouldn't go with the regret that it was on the tip of my mouth, my tongue. I didn't say it. Yes, Charu.
Because we don't have SMT cabinets here, meeting rooms are becoming increasingly a problem. Is there a possibility we can look at somewhere outside, like we had Sherwani near Nehru Place?
You know, we have 2 more meeting rooms that are coming up. After that, let us re-examine it, how difficult it is. Of course, if it is very confidential, then it becomes a problem. But I have also seen people having meetings, in that space where Ray is sitting in that space. 4 or 5 of them huddle together and have a meeting, though it is not a fixed meeting room. We'll have to find spaces like that, but we will look at it anyway. There would be, we will be looking at possibilities of meeting rooms
I
outside.
don't know if our IIC membership extends to anything.
It cannot. We asked that question. We asked that question to those people there. They said no, and they don't have meeting rooms either. They have a restaurant there.
They have big conference.
They have big conference
But they
facilities.
don't have membership at all.
They don't have membership. You can pay and use it, but we could have a tie-up with some people. Yeah,
We have tie-ups with 1 or 2 guest houses. and
we have tie-ups with 1 or 2 guest houses. Please, if you run out of office space to via meetings, please contact Ashutosh. He will give you. Come up. You want to address this crowd? Yep. Yeah, it is one of the difficulties that we have. I guess a lot of that we have to live with it, and also we find that sometimes people automatically tone down their sound levels so that we accommodate other people as well. Look, that's a genuine problem, especially in these 2 meeting rooms. You could we'll see how much soundproofing we can do. At least those gaps
Let the
between
Let the graphics come. It will also reduce some of the noise.
Sometimes it's not the voice. Sometimes it's the images that you see outside, and you think you can hear them. So when you shut out those images with those graphics, probably things will look slightly better. But that point taken, yeah. Yes.
Someone like at any place where a person would go and get us here there is no facility, so very difficult.
Facility for what?
Like somebody wants to see or something like food.
Okay. So lunches, we definitely cannot send out our people, which I think I myself violate sometimes, to get food and stuff from outside, which is not a good practice. But Shraddha, what happened to those?
Delivery options in Gurgaon.
There are many delivery options. Somebody has already come to us. Somebody has even said that he could give us all lunch packs for some 70 rupees or something like that. So yeah, so there is a salad place online. Approach Scott for the details.
Fresh.com, you don't even talk to anyone.
Scott orders his lunch online.
Fresh.co.in.
What?
Fresh FRS sh.co.in.
Or co.in.
.com.
.com. All right. What we'll do is that Ashutosh, if you could just collect all those possibilities of calling in food restaurant details and send the telephone numbers, email IDs, etc. We'll make sure that it is available to you so that you can order things online. Anything else? Good. So we are closing it. Just one more thing, that is the eggy. Shraddha, you'll have to stand up on this. I'll step down.
Nothing will stand up.
Call the person. The person, yeah. You have to call the person.
But no, we'll call her after you. You want to come up? By the way, those of you who joined new, this is a monthly event, we give an award called the Eggy Award. And Eggy is named after Eglantine Jett, which is who is our founder. She founded Save the Children in 1990, right? And Eggy Award is in her memory, and it is an award which is given by employee to an employee, right? An employee who gets who gives it, like Natsan got it last time. How many of you know Natsan? Natsan is right here. And Natsan will today announce who he is going to give it to, right? And unfortunately that person is not here. We will soon be calling her on the phone, right? And interestingly, in Washington, while I was there, they gave the Eggy Award. This time an employee gave it to Jasmine, and she got a lovely handbag. And if you go, did you try that handbag site? It's called swag.com. You can order a lot of Save the Children branded stuff online. It is called SWAG or GG. Is it G? Just try both. Swag.com. Those of you who want nice bags and ties and stuff, you can order online. So anyway, we gave Jasmine the Eggy Award as well as a nice bag. This is minus the bag. Our Eggy Award is, you got it? To show them? You're not giving it to them?
We will. If it wasn't here, so we didn't put the picture in.
Okay. But you can show them what it looks like. Where is it? Upstairs. It's okay. Okay, should I call her? Yeah, Natsan, come. So she's actually working from home. I'll try again. And these awardees on a monthly basis, they go to our what we call as the X of Fame. And you would have seen that in the other office, the X of Fame. Oh, network sabha. That is difficult. Okay, we'll keep trying while Natsan would make the announcement. Let's not waste time.
Okay. It is an honor and privilege to present this Eggy Award for the month of June 2015 to Deepali Nath.
By the way, in its 1.5 years of inception, this is the very first time an SMT member is getting it. And yeah, but Natsan was very insistent. We questioned him, why an SMT member? But Natsan says that I'll leave my job if I don't give this. We had to give it to Deepali Nath.
It means that I can stay now.
Yeah.
Deepali Nath, you are a wonderful human being filled with passion to work for the cause of underprivileged children in India. Your commitment and dedication to children is seen in the form of various report launches that we had in the past. One of the remarkable feats include the recent launch of Urban Child Report. An excellent person with lots of humor, hard work and being simple are some of your qualities that a person could easily identify after talking to you. God bless you more for all your good work. Congratulations once again.
Hi, Deepali. We just finished something, but I wonder why you're not here for the GWT. See, I even forgot that there was GWT on today. So next time we are not allowed to, and the entire staff is in front of you listening to you. So they are telling you also you're not allowed to work from home on TWT. But we have called you because Natsan, who was the last EGI winner, wanted to, has already announced that the award for this month is going to Deepali Nath. Okay, so Natsan, do you want to read it out again? Natsan is going to read it out once more, what she said, all those nice things that he said about you.
Hi Deepali.
So what did you, I'm sure Natsan and you had a conversation about this before. Okay, read it, Natsan.
It is an honor and privilege to present this EGI Award for the month of June 2015 to Deepali Nath. Deepali Nath, you are a wonderful human being filled with passion to work for the cause of underprivileged children in India. Your commitment and dedication to children is seen in the form of various report launches that we had in the past. One of the remarkable feats include the recent launch of Urban Child Report. Deepali, you are an excellent person with lots of humor, hard work and being simple are some of your qualities that a person could easily identify after talking to you. God bless you more for all your good work. Congratulations once again.
Good. It's a really a cute surprise if you can't hear what Deepali is saying. Okay, what else, Deepali?
No, I mean, it's actually really wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm pretty speechless right now.
Okay.
But I think it's been a really wonderful period of doing some really great work. So, thanks to everybody, thanks to my team, and that's what I have to say. And thanks a lot for this huge prize.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, I'm letting you go.
Okay.
Bye-bye. All right. So that officially ends the TWT. And now it's time for the, what is that, the 4 C's. Chocolate chips cake with Chandy. 5 C's. Yeah. So where is that? And Coke. It's too many C's.
This is the EGI Award.
Okay, this is the EGI Award. You know, this doesn't look like the usual award, right? So we are quite creative out here. And this is the award that that is going round and round and round. Right? I hope each one of us gets this sometime or the other. Stay till 2050. You will get it. Again, my joke is going over, so I shall step down. Okay, there are also birthdays. There are also birthdays, and okay, so there is a cake out here. So we are going to announce the birthday guys as well as the new joinees.
If you'd like the new joiners to come, it is.
No, you'll have to come forward and announce it louder. Huh? You're not loud enough.
Bobby, Sudhir, Shoaib, Prerna, Ravinder, Aarti, Vinay and Avinash. Can we have all of you right here?
Are they the new guys?
Yeah.
I thought you hired about 25 people last month. It's across India, okay. Alright, all those new guys.
And the
come this side.
birthdays. Rajkumar, Hemlata, Vinay, Kaushik, Sridhar, Sonali and Scott.
And where is Sonali? Scott, you too.
Yes.
Come this side. Oh, Sonali is also here. Good. So Sonali is going to just announce how old she is, and then we'll come. Come, forever. She's sad idiot never cut the cake. So let me step down. You also want to cut the cake? When was your birthday? Your birthday was sometime recently. Right?
आता ही आता दूसरा दूध जैसे से
November. If you come in November, we'll cut your cake. Happy birthday to you. And welcome for the new joinees. Please go ahead and do the honors.
same thing. Better you be in charge.